The Last Call, a night shift horror story. The worst thing about the night shift isn't the darkness. It's how time stretches, how silence starts to feel aware of you. I worked as a highway emergency dispatcher, midnight to 6. The shift no one wanted. Most nights were boring, drunk drivers, flat tires, the kind of problems that ended cleanly. But after 2 a.m., the calls changed. At 1:12 a.m., my phone rang. There was no voice, just breathing, slow, careful, like the caller was afraid to make noise. "Emergency services," I said. "What's your location?" The breathing stopped. Then, very quietly, the caller whispered, "I shouldn't be awake." The line went dead. I stared at the phone for a second longer than necessary, then logged it as a prank. Night shift teaches you to explain things away. If you don't, you go crazy. At 1:44 a.m., the phone rang again. Same number, same breathing. But this time, there was something underneath it. Wind, loud and constant, rushing past like an open road. "Sir," I said, "are you driving?" There was a pause long enough to make me think the call dropped. Then the voice said, "Yes, but the road won't end." I felt my posture change. More alert, less tired. I pulled up the tracing system. No signal, no cell tower, no GPS. That didn't make sense. "Can you see any mile markers?" I asked. "Yes," the caller said. "They keep counting backward." My fingers hovered over the keyboard. Highways don't count backward. In the background, I heard something else now. A faint clicking sound. "Turn signal." "I've passed the same tree 3 times," the caller continued. "There's fog everywhere. I don't remember getting tired." My mouth felt dry. "Sir," I said carefully, "do you remember where you were going?" Another pause. "I don't remember starting the drive." The line went silent. Then the caller whispered, "You're going to get this call too." The call disconnected. I leaned back in my chair and laughed once, short and sharp. My body needed release. At 2:30 a.m., every phone line lit up at the same time, all incoming, all from the same number. I answered one. Static exploded into my ear. Then voices, dozens of them, overlapping and panicked. Men, women, children, all saying the same sentence. "We missed the exit." The system froze. Screens went black one by one until only a single window remained open. A live audio feed. One voice stayed. Clear, calm. It was my voice. "I took the night shift because I needed the money," it said. "I told myself it was temporary." I stood up so fast my chair fell backward. "I needed something quiet," the voice continued. "Something where I wouldn't have to think too much." My hands were shaking. "I thought staying awake would keep me safe," I whispered. "This isn't funny." The voice responded immediately. "That's the lie. Sleep isn't when you lose control. It's when you let go." The remaining screen changed. A traffic camera feed came online. A highway at night. Fog drifting across the road like smoke. A car sat overturned in the ditch. Hazard lights blinking slowly. The camera zoomed in. Inside the windshield, I saw myself, hands gripping the steering wheel, eyes wide open, unblinking. A memory hit me so suddenly I staggered. Driving home weeks ago, yawning, the radio cutting out, thinking, just for a second, that the road looked unfamiliar. I had no memory of arriving home that night. The phone on my desk rang again. I answered without thinking. "I can see the exit now," the caller said. It was me. "It's right there," my voice continued. "But every time I get close, it moves." In the background, I heard metal creaking, wind roaring louder. "I think I fell asleep," the voice said. "I think you stayed awake." My reflection appeared in the dark screen beside me. It blinked. I didn't. You took over, the voice said gently. You finished the shift. The traffic feed zoomed closer to the wreck. I saw blood on the dashboard. Dry. Old. The dispatcher's system chimed softly. Shift ending soon. I tried to speak. My mouth opened. No sound came out. The phone rang one last time. Caller ID displayed a single line. Incoming. Night shift. The lights in the room flickered. The traffic camera feed went black. Morning sunlight spilled through the office windows. I was sitting in my chair again, calm, focused. A new dispatcher walked past me, coffee in hand. Quiet night? He asked. I smiled. Yeah, I said. Nothing unusual. Somewhere on an endless road, a phone is still ringing. Because the night shift never ends. It just finds someone else to stay awake. The night shift doesn't forget. I took the night shift because I wanted quiet. Not peace, just quiet. The kind where nothing expects anything from you. 8 hours alone in a building that stayed awake while the rest of the world slept. It was an office complex on the edge of the city. 5 floors, empty at night. My job was simple. Sit at the front desk, watch the cameras, log anything unusual. The rule book was thin, but one line was underlined twice. If you experience anything that feels unfamiliar, remain at your station. No explanation. No examples. My shift started at 11 p.m. At 11:10, everything felt normal. Fluorescent lights, soft hum of electricity, cameras showing empty hallways. At 11:46, one camera froze. Just for a moment. When it came back, the hallway looked slightly wrong. Same angle, same lights, but the space felt stretched, like the room was longer than it should be. I blamed my eyes. Then the timestamp jumped backward by 3 minutes. I tapped the screen. It corrected itself. I told myself not to think about it. Midnight came and went. That's when buildings change. You don't notice it during the day, but at night, places stop pretending they're made for people. At 12:32, the elevator camera activated. No one had badged in. The elevator doors opened on the 3rd floor. No one stepped out, but the doors stayed open, longer than they should have. The camera audio turned on by itself. I heard breathing. Not heavy, not panicked, resting, like someone standing very still. I muted the feed. My reflection in the monitor glass looked tired, older than I remembered. I hadn't slept well lately. Night shifts do that to you. Behind my reflection, something moved. I turned. Nothing there. At 1:15, I stood up to stretch. The building made a soft clicking sound like joints adjusting. That sound followed me when I walked. Every step I took, the sound followed half a second late. I stopped walking. The sound stopped too. I sat back down. At 1:40, the logbook slid slightly on the desk. Just a few inches. I hadn't touched it. I stared at it for a long time before opening it. The last entry wasn't mine. The handwriting was shaky, rushed. Still here. Time won't move. I flipped the page. Another entry. Lights don't turn off anymore. Another page. I hear myself walking when I'm not. My name was written at the bottom. I closed the book. The hallway lights flickered. Every camera turned on at once. Every hallway was empty. Except one. The 5th floor break room. Someone was sitting at the table. Head down, back facing the camera. I zoomed in. The posture felt familiar. The way the shoulders slumped. The way the hands rested. It was me. Same jacket, same build. The head lifted slowly. The face wasn't distorted, just exhausted. Eyes hollow. Skin stretched thin. The figure looked straight into the camera and nodded. The monitors went black. The building went silent. Too silent. Footsteps followed, not from the hallway, from above the ceiling tiles. Slow, careful, like someone walking upside down. I stayed seated. I remembered the rule. The footsteps stopped above me. Something tapped the ceiling. Once, twice, then directly behind me. I didn't turn around. My watch vibrated. 3 a.m. That wasn't possible. I had checked it moments earlier. The lights returned. The monitors came back online. Every camera now showed the front desk. My desk. My chair. Me. Sitting perfectly still. The version of me on the screen raised a hand and placed it flat on the desk. Pressure pressed down on my own hand, like something invisible holding me in place. The pressure vanished. The cameras changed again. The 5th floor break room was full now. People in security uniforms sat at the tables. Some stared at the walls, some at the floor, some at nothing at all. They all looked exhausted. At the far end, I saw myself standing, older, thinner, eyes empty. The clock on the wall spun backward. 11 p.m. The front door opened. Morning light spilled in. Birds chirped. Traffic passed. Everything felt normal again. I stood up slowly. My legs felt stiff, like I'd been sitting for years. The day supervisor walked in and stopped when he saw me. Confusion crossed his face. I showed him my badge. The color drained from his expression. The badge belonged to someone who never clocked out. He checked the time. It was 11 p.m. Behind him, the lights flickered. The logbook slid closer to the edge of the desk, and somewhere deep inside the building, a chair scraped against the floor, as if someone else had just taken their seat. For the night shift,